ahead and buckle up.
Okay, Annie, here we go. Yeah. All right, Connie, let's go. There's no steering wheel in the way.
It was a big decision for us to go and start building our purpose-built vehicles for this. And really, they're prototype vehicles. They were a chance for us to explore what does it really mean to have a self-driving vehicle.
The objective of this video is to highlight the eminent ethical issues that are raised from the implementation of self-driving cars in our society. Autonomous cars are the next big thing in human transportation and efficiency. Many companies such as Volkswagen, Google, and Tesla see autonomous cars as an opportunity to increase their business model. While individuals have not explicitly expressed a need for self-driving cars, these companies, through intensive research and development, have recognized that autonomous vehicles are a giant leap towards major transportation innovation. This level of innovation has not been achieved since the implementation of highways. Recognizing this forthcoming transportation revolution, California, Nevada, Michigan, Florida, and Washington, D.C. have already legalized the use of autonomous vehicles on public roads. Currently, the Tesla Model S 90D Autopilot allows the Model S to steer within a lane, change lanes with a simple tap of a turn signal, and manage speed by using active traffic-aware cruise control. The following video highlights an individual's reaction to this sci-fi-esque product.
Okay, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not touching it. No, the car's watching. It sees. Oh my gosh, the car knows exactly where the person ahead of me is in the lane. Because I could see it here on the dash. And, whoop, red light. But that was, ooh, that was interesting. It got a really bad taxi really well, which is incredible. And, oh my gosh, this is so, I'm not touching it at all, and it's driving. Whoa, the lanes are getting a little. Oh no, there it goes, and it stops. I mean, being here in a Tesla Model S P90D with ludicrous mode, which is incredibly fun, but the fact that it could do all this itself, and you could see on here the vehicle in front of you that's following, and you could see where that is in its lane, and you could see all of the sensors going back and forth on the dashboard display here. Oh my gosh, it's changing lanes on its own. Oh my gosh, it's changing lanes on its own. That is wild. So I hit the brakes there, but I didn't think I need to. I think that was me getting nervous, and the car didn't have a problem. The car was like, just watch out, there's something in front, but it was slowing down on its own. That's incredible. That's weird that I started freaking out before the car did. Oh my gosh.
While it's easy to get excited about autonomous cars, one must consider the hefty moral implications of such an unprecedented advancement. For example, if you notice in the video, the driver used manual override to brake before the car would. In the not-so-far future, this level of human control can compromise an otherwise perfect solution to any driving situation. In order to achieve peak efficiency of self-driving vehicles, we will need to give up the human-controlled driving paradigm.
Before anyone would be willing to give up this control, they would first need to believe that the designed algorithm is safer for them as an individual. However, pushing the responsibility of making possibly life-ending decisions onto a machine ostensibly seems ridiculous. This dilemma is emphasized by what is referred to as the trolley problem.
The trolley problem. Runaway trolley. 4 men in its path. All of them will die. But wait, you can pull a lever. You can change the trolley's course. to another track where only one man stands. You have a choice. Kill one or let four die. What are you going to do?
I would pull it.
I'd pull the lever and divert the train.
Yes, I would absolutely pull the switch.
At this level of physical separation of the dilemma, many people respond that they feel morally okay with making the decision to kill one in order to save four. How would their response change with a variation of the context of the choice? What would you do?
That means having one person die isn't as bad as having four people die.
Absolutely. You're saving four lives. There's another equivalent scenario.
Same situation. Runaway trolley. Four men will die. But this time you're on a bridge. And there's a man there. He's fat. Fat enough to stop the trolley and save the four men. But he won't jump. He'll need to be pushed. Can you push the man over the edge?
I don't think that would be a possibility at all.
And I don't think this be justified.
I can't do that.
These people's reactions shed light on how people's personal ethics correlate to contextual changes that are challenging for a computer to pick up on. Is there truly a difference between the results of these two situations? A foundational acceptance of the equivalence of these two scenarios is inherent in autonomous vehicles. When faced with a choice, an algorithm may need to sacrifice one individual to save four. Beyond this, such a monumental advancement poses many increasingly difficult ethical questions. If a driver creates a risk, should that individual's safety be less valuable than other drivers on the road? Would it be morally inexcusable for a company to prioritize speed over user safety? The most efficient algorithms would maximize efficiency and safety and minimize risk of deaths. But how does a company's economic interest weigh in? In the end, the moral considerations will be in the hands of private corporations and their computer scientists. It is inevitable that collisions will occur on the road. In this instance, who would morally and legally be responsible for the collision if no passenger is expected to be driving? In the past, car companies have attempted to blame computer scientists for what are clearly corporate decisions. For example, recently many car companies have been under legal pressure for their involvement in deceit in standards emissions testing. Volkswagen publicly stated that they had no idea of this policy workaround being in their vehicles, and blamed this treachery entirely on a couple of their very own computer scientists. It's highly possible that companies would avoid accepting responsibility for collisions when they have already expressed their willingness to use technical employees as scapegoats. In contrast, Volvo has publicly stated that they would accept full liability whenever one of its cars is in autonomous mode. Although they haven't explicitly elaborated on specifics, the company asserts a moral obligation of the corporation to ensure that user safety is a priority.
Volvo has an answer to one of the biggest questions about self-driving cars. Who should take the blame when there's an accident? Should it be the manufacturer or the people riding in the car? In a press release ahead of a speech on autonomous vehicles at the Swedish embassy, Volvo's top officer, Håkan Samuelsson, said his company would take the blame if one of its cars gets into an accident. The question has been floating around for a while now, and Volvo is touting itself as the first automaker to step up and answer it. As Google's self-driving car tests have shown us, even with smart cars, accidents happen. But according to Google's reports, it's usually a human driver's fault. Samuelsson's speech is meant to get self-driving cars on the road sooner by encouraging US regulators to get rules in place. He said in the press release, "If we are to ensure a smooth transition to autonomous mobility, then together we must create the necessary framework that will support this." He also addressed hacking, saying it should be considered a criminal offense. Although making it a crime doesn't mean hacking won't ever happen. Security researchers have shown that even regular cars are vulnerable, so security features might need some work, not the laws. For Newsy, I'm Christian Bryant.
Aside from corporate responsibility, one must also consider the implications of such advancement on the economically disadvantaged. Innovation such as this, while a boon for society overall, often furthers the socio-economic divide. Self-driving cars enable individuals to relocate frequently and easily without the need to focus on driving, thus eliminating a sacrifice in productivity. This makes owners of self-driving cars more desirable employees, increasing the opportunity for social advantage of economically enabled people. As you can see, this clearly increases the gap between the wealthy and the poor. Not only will autonomous cars negatively impact the disadvantaged, but it would also introduce an environmental issue. Autonomous cars would reduce the need to physically drive, and thus people would be more inclined to drive longer distances or to spend time using their vehicle. Since the first applications of self-driving vehicles are focused on sales to individuals, self-driving vehicles offer a simpler alternative to public transportation. Clearly, the growing willingness to use self-driving cars for extended periods of time will correlate to an increase in emissions and the use of fossil fuels. Another issue that arises from autonomous cars would be the disappearance of current transportation solutions, including buses, trains, taxis, and services like Uber. However, it also provides an opportunity for new transportation options. Many will find ways to monetize the use of self-driving vehicles, including autonomous public transportation, taxis, and long-haul trucking. While these solutions clearly present new efficient travel opportunities, one must consider the destruction of current economic infrastructure. Considering how the taxi industry is in a panic from corporations such as Uber and Lyft, imagine the implications of the introduction of self-driving cars.
Now, computers don't get drunk or mess with their cell phones or get distracted, so expect auto-related deaths to approach zero as more autonomous cars hit the road. Not only is it going to be safe, but it's going to be fast. The average American spends 52 minutes commuting to work today, but not for long. Say bye-bye to stoplights and traffic signals and say hello to high speeds. The autonomous car of the future will be able to plot a direct course and communicate with the other cars on the road so that as many as possible can fit and keep the flow moving as quickly as possible. Autonomous cars are going to be accessible to the disabled, elderly, and young, which raises an interesting question. If the autonomous car is no longer a car but a computer, then do we need to regulate it as much as we do with the cars today? In disaster relief situations, hurricanes, fires, tsunamis, an army of autonomous vehicles could be ready for rescue missions. Finally, people are going to be happier. Stressful hour-long commutes shackle human joy. It is going to be nice to get rid of them.
It is clear that the incoming changes to the transportation industry will have a great impact on many lives. With autonomous cars hitting the roads already, we must create a set of rules that ensures human safety comes absolutely first. We predict that the government will have strict regulations to satisfy the heavy moral obligation that comes with releasing products where users will assume a high level of safety. It's exciting to see such an unprecedented innovation occurring in front of our very own eyes, but we must be mindful of moral implications that come with such great change.
Human feeling of it is very well engineered and it is very smooth. There's nothing that makes you feel the least bit threatened. It's impressive. I'm totally in love with this whole concept.
Our lives are made up of lots and lots of little things, and a lot of those little things for most people have to do with getting from place to place in order to connect and do things, and be with people, go places that they need to go and do things. And so there's a big part of my life that's missing, and there's a big part of my life that a self-driving vehicle would bring back to me.
This is the first step for us, and it's really exciting to see the progress we've made. The opportunity for people to just move around and not worry about it, it's going to be incredibly empowering and incredibly powerful for people.